free running and also like a game of tag inside a video game. That's the topic that I want to be hitting, because I think it has potential for its own game. Because I've been doing a lot of research on free running. The more research I do, I just see such potential to it. If you're interested, the games that I found that has correlation to free running is, I can just list it off. Obviously Combat Arms, right? Crossfire, Zombie Mode, Gorilla Tag, Hyperscape, and Dead by Daylight. And if we're gonna bring it into real life, it'll be Tag Championship or whatever. I've been watching World Chase Tag, and like I guess the guy that like founded it, he pretty much like did it from the ground up, and he knew like exactly what he was doing, like how he wanted to set the rules for it, and what to make it like look appealing to people. Because he even explained it in a video, like what he was looking for is that pretty much that one viral video that like makes them a bit known, and it just like spreads. And you can see how like calculated it was, which is kind of crazy. Hold on, let me see if I can. I have the video up, but if you want to look at it, it's this video. You should watch it if you're interested. How to turn a playground game into global sport. Watch that video and tell me what you think of it if you're interested. And then like I think that what he says in that video can be applied to like video games, like free running in video games. Like there's no reason why it can't become a video game, as long as if it's like easily understandable what's going on for new people, then it should be able to be a thing. Because like if people see like, oh, this looks kind of fun, and then they look into it, and if it reaches like enough people, then it's like what I have in mind is like just a whole entire new game just surrounding around that running aspect. I think movement games are an untapped market. Like there's surfing, KZ jump. Wait, what's KZ jump? On CS:GO, building and 3D movement made Fortnite huge. Yeah, games revolving around movement. Like what if like movement is the part that allows you to outplay the other person? So like if a game was centered around movement, and that's how like you outplay the other people, I don't know, I feel like that's kind of like there's just like nothing like that. I haven't seen a game like QR recently. There was this one game back then in like 2012 2014 people played while CA maintenance that was like CA QR but more kiddish. CA main, that was like QR. Oh, Crossfire. Okay. Yeah, Crossfire, the movement is like still a little bit more rigid, but it still has like that aspect. I have the clip like up right now because I wanted to talk about it. All right, we'll turn that off. So like this is Crossfire, but like zombie mode that has like free running. So what I mean by rigid is like when you jump, you can't really like move side to side as much, but it's still there. Like you're the human, those are the zombie, everyone else is a zombie, right? Also shout out to Bandicam, that's right up top. That's how you know it's old. But this is like all movement. Like his outplaying these people by just running away from them. And it's like it has a lot of similarity to Quarantine, right? And you could also argue that like the whole point of that is to outrun the other people, right? Which is the concept is still the same as like doing the let me look it up right now, like the professional tag. which by the way has 41 million views, which is how like I think it became semi like big because of that. Like some of their videos have like millions of views. So let's look at this, right? So the point, let me just say, this guy's the chaser, right? And you guys can't see him, but this one's the evader. And so like he's juking him around and all that. The concept is the same. It's just that it got more formulated in real life than in video game. So like what if, and you know, I'll just say this, first glance at this, like it's entertaining to watch, right? It's entertaining to watch, but I don't think many people are gonna like wanna, you know, do this because it looks dangerous, and also it's very like cardio heavy, right? And I mean, you know, generally people don't want to, I don't know, I think generally people are lazier physically, right? Maybe that's not a good argument, but it exists in real life, right? But not in video game. And like all this setup back here, like all the obstacles and stuff, like the developer of it, like pretty much like designed all of it just so that like, okay, what's the best way that we can set up a stage for it to be like entertaining and also to have it like more of a thing, like make it more exciting, you know? The concepts are the same, is what I'm trying to get at. The cool thing about Quarantine is that like you can kill the chaser. I think that adds like a whole new layer to the game. Like, okay, so I'll refer back to the pro tag game. Like if you are able to, okay, quote unquote, kill, like let's pretend that that's a game. And if you can kill the chaser somehow, like maybe by placing mines or I don't know, whatever, doesn't that add like a whole new layer to the game? Like it doesn't make it as one-dimensional. It makes the game more interesting. Which is why like this is I think many people were into this game also. Like that, just the fact that you can kill the chasers. And like fragging out too, getting clips. That's why montages were made in the first place. Which probably made the game a bit more popular too, by the way. Like people making montages. It's also like a game that like everybody knows. Like everybody knows what tagging is. It's just surprising that it's not a video game. Because I think there's ways to make tag like a fun game. Like, I mean, in a video game, which you could do so many things with, right? Because in a video game, you're not limited to just like have it be so one-dimensional where you're just like chasing a person and tagging. Like there can be, you know, unrealistic things that's added to it. Like, you know, I use these as an example, like having abilities maybe, like in Valorant, like while you're being chased or whatever, build a wall just right in front of you. Or, you know, you just like put your satchel out. I don't know, if you don't play Valorant, you're not gonna know what I'm talking about, but like you can like jump higher with abilities maybe. Like something unrealistic, but also like tagging. Free running in this game right now is really hard to do, which is why I think abilities would be a good thing to introduce. Because like it'll make it easier for you to be running with abilities. Depending on whatever that ability is. Like, okay, if I'm like running and then randomly I can just like place a wall there so that the other person gets stuck here, right? That would make the running like way easier, right? That's what I mean by abilities. And I'm sure like you can get kind of like creative with that too. We need an alternative for CAQR. I'm just surprised that there hasn't been. Yet, Peter. Because tag is such a game of tag is so simple in its ideas. Honestly, I'm just wondering if you can take the shooter aspect out of it. Could even draw people into it. See, that's why the That's why it has to be like well presented, like straightforward. So I'll use the real life tag as an example. It's a 1v1, right? And if you run around for 20 seconds, then you win. It's pretty simple as that. And I think that's pretty easy to understand. And you can, like, just looking at the sport, it's really easy to understand. So when you're creating a game like this, it has to be like really easy to understand too. I think there can still be some shooting aspect maybe, but if it's gonna be running centric, then it would have to be like really clear that it's like running centered. Like you have to be rewarded for running around and stuff, or that just has to be like the game mechanic. Because Quarantine right now, it's not a well-defined game. You can play however you want it to, like however you want. It's not really, there's no set of rule, right, of how to play the game. It's really kind of like a free-for-all. You got people with turrets and machine guns and stuff that's playing in a whole different way than I am, which is just me running around and stuff, right? I wonder if it might be better if it's based on Manhunt, not just Tag. Manhunt? Okay, so here's the rule for Manhunt, right? So Manhunt, you have a base. You have a base, which we'll just pretend this is the base right here. And there's maybe like, let's just say 2 or 3 people, that's it. And whoever that goes into the base wins, right? But that means that like you have to wait for all the other players to get into the base and all that. So as a game, would it work? I don't know, but you have to kind of like tweak it a little bit in order for it to be more approachable and playable, like over and over again. Yeah, it's just that tweaking part that's that'll be more tricky, maybe. That makes it more fun to play. And that's what I mean by like defining this mode a bit, right? So a game that is very similar to that, I think, is Dead by Daylight. Dead by Daylight, I think, kind of is like Manhunt. But Dead by Daylight, I know that there's some movement in the game, but I don't think the movements are very satisfying. It's not as fluid as it can be. Like when you're running away from the killer. Oh my god. Wait. I think incorporating more movement like Mirror's Run could be cool. Mirror's Run, that's another one. And also, do you remember the game, what was it called? Dying Light? Dying Light. That was the first game that had parkour and also zombies involved. The only thing is that it was a first player game, like one player game, not a multiplayer game. So it could have been cool. It could have been cool if Dying Light was multiplayer and was kind of like Quarantine, right? Like some of the concept is there. I think it's cool. I think the movement can be better in that game. Because like, I don't know, when you're getting caught in animations, I think that'll be like a little frustrating, or like that makes it less fluid, I think. Like whenever you're climbing over walls or whatever, and like you just want to be like free like this, like you want to be almost gliding around everywhere with no speed reduction, you know? Like whenever there's okay, so you know how like if you jumping, maybe, okay, I don't know if this is true or not, but in CSGO, if you were to spam jump or whatever, maybe you have a reduction in speed, like it punishes you for jumping a lot, then it makes it less satisfying for the movement if you're being punished. So that's what I mean by like free movement. Like just you're just always on the go. At least that's how this game is. Yeah, the game mode just has to be like more. It has to be defined more. Maybe I can spend some time to try to give ideas what that might look like. Like I have to keep like going back to saying like it has to be like playable and approachable. It can't be something like too. It can't be stupid, I guess, is what I'm trying to get at. I don't know if it'll be like 1v1. I don't know what it would look like. It would depend on the game, obviously. But like imagine something like this. Imagine clan versus clan. I mean, this basically is clan versus clan. This basically is clan versus clan. So, all right, let me explain, right? So the guy you see right here, I think he's the chaser. He's the zombie, right? And then that's the guy running away. And then he has to run. So look, he only lasted for 7.6 seconds, but he has to run for 20 seconds for them to get a point. So something like this, I mean, it can exist. And just two dudes made this happen. And like they had the idea, they made it into a reality, and yeah, if they weren't gonna do it, then I don't think, you know, people weren't really gonna do it. So it's like same for video games. It's like the concept is there. You just have to make it more appealing and approachable. And then it could make for a good game or something to build a community around. Which there already is, because like there's already, you know, there's already communities around free runnings involved, right? Like Combat Arms, Crossfire, and the other games that I mentioned. Like part of me like wanting to talk to you guys is to kind of like see if I'm just like imagining all this or not. Like I kind of want to gauge the people that's played the same games that I have. Yeah, I just needed to get it out so that I can make a video for YouTube. So if you're not subscribed, make sure to like, subscribe, and rate, comment, and subscribe. That's the line. But I do appreciate you guys hearing it all out, and giving feedback and all that. And smash the bell notification. That's right.